if the brain could talk. 3, 2, 1. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Shower Podcast, the podcast where I'm in my shower and you do you. I'm your host, Chip, and I would like to welcome you officially to the last mini-series of the Shower Podcast project. Since we are so close to my desired goal of 365 days of consecutive podcasting, I thought to make it special. And I realized that throughout this year, something was missing from the podcast. Usually on podcasts, you have guests, but due to logistic problems, as you can see, my shower is not that big. We didn't have a chance to have guests on the podcast. But while thinking about all the things that we have discussed, there is somebody that could be part of our podcast, even though we will have to work with a bit of imagination. As you have seen from the title, this mini-series will be named "What If the Brain Could Talk?" And I really thought, what if parts of our brain, our motivation, dopamine, sleep, neuroplasticity, all topics that we covered across the year in the Shower Podcast, could give us some hints on how to work with them, how we are working against them, and overall to give us some insights on how to properly use our brain. Here on the screen right now, you will see the list of all participants, and also one of them will be highlighted. This is because this series will run over 7 episodes, and each episode will have a certain guest on the show. I deliberately didn't want to use AI for the voices. Let's say I still wanted to make it sound like all the other episodes of the Shower Podcast. So when the guest will be talking, you will hear a slight difference in my voice. I hope that you'll be able to enjoy it and that it will make it a bit fun and different to listen to. And overall, I believe that it was the right compromise. Having said that, that was all for today. Thank you very much for listening. If you made it so far and overall want to give a last push to the Shower Podcast, remember the liking and subscribing really mean a lot for me. And having said that, I will leave you directly with the interview and enjoy the episode.
Thanks for having me. As you have said, I agree that you can define me as attention, the system that decides what gets center stage and what waits in the wings. People picture me as a narrow beam, but more like a 3-part crew, maybe. An alerting team that keeps you ready, an orienting team that points you to what matters, and a control team that holds the line on your goal. That model isn't just poetry, it's mapped in the lab and in the brain. From early work that split my job into alerting, orienting, and executive control, to nowadays experiments that measure each piece in a single test.
Okay, so a 3-part crew actually explains a lot. It also explains why my brain feels like a group chat that should have been an email. So if I jump between tabs, messages, and I swear I'll come right back, what do you actually do besides judge me silently?
Oh, not at all. I don't judge. I just bill you. Every switch sends me to reconfigure, let go of the old rule, and load the new one. Rebuild the scene you just abandoned. You actually feel it as a tiny pause, a hitch in the next sentence, a moment of, wait, where was I? But those hitches actually add up. In controlled studies, even simple task switches come with measurable cost. Slower responses right after the switch, and actually more errors, especially when the rules are complex or the cues are unclear for me. Preparation helps, for sure, but it doesn't erase the toll.
Okay, fair. So indeed, I will have to pay the tax of I'll just speak at the next message. For the record, one of my tabs is always playing music I can't find. Is there anything worse than switching yourself? Like, I don't know, getting pinged mid sentence?
Actually, there is. Being pinged and pretending you're not. The mere buzz of a phone can tug on me hard enough to dent performance, even if you never touch it. Notifications alone drag attention of the task, and simply having your own smartphone nearby reduces the mental bandwidth you have available. And it's not drama, it's just mere capacity. When a tempting object sits within reach, a portion of me just has to budget for it. So next time, move it away and that budget comes right back at you.
Thank God then that the cure is not to go monk mode. It's just fewer cover bands playing in the background. So let me ask this straight. If someone listening has 90 minutes to do something that actually matters, how would you say we set you up to win without turning life into a productivity cult?
Okay, I like this question very much. So I would say start by choosing the state and then build the lane. Let me explain it a bit better. If you're flat, add a small spark. Let's say a brief walk, a timer that says we begin now. But on the other hand, if you're jittery, try to lower the input. Just focus on one window, slow your breathing, try to choose a quiet room. So my alerting crew isn't flooding the stage. After that, make the goal obvious where your eyes land. I know that a lot of people say this, but it's actually true. One sentence that names what this block is for. Give me a single surface to work on, one document, one canvas, and keep the material close. Work in one or two substantial segments with a deliberate pause to check direction and not messages. And before you step away, leave a breadcrumb for tomorrow. Half a line of the next paragraph, a tiny note that says, start with this example, anything that can remind me how to get back on focus. So that shrinks the cost of re-entry, which is where most momentum leaks. And then the rhythm is pretty simple. Fewer switches, clearer cues, and a finish line you can see from the middle. The science behind me isn't a scold. It's more like a map. When my networks agree on the target and the noise is managed, performance just climbs up.
Yeah, what you're saying is definitely not easy. I think a lot of us have experienced the fact that focusing just on one surface, on one item, it's definitely the harder part. But I think that we can easily try to reduce the distractions. For example, moving the phone away, trying to select the quieter room. Those are things that we can have under control. So one last thing. If people train you the way they train a muscle, for example, what changes first?
I would definitely say the default mode you have. If your days teach me that novelty wins, I'll swivel to novelty. If your days teach me that one clear thread gets protected time, I'll start defending that thread on my own. Mostly, it will get easier to find and easier to keep. Of course, not perfect, just a bit steadier. And that's me doing good work. The alerting team keeping you ready, the orienting team pointing you where you're meant to go, and the control team holding the course while you finish. And when the world asks for a switch, you won't stop being human. You'll just pay the toll once completely and then come back on purpose.
Okay, thank you very much, Attention, for being here. I think we got to learn a lot, especially directly from you. Very insightful to know that you have 3 teams working for you, and it's just one person trying to do it all. And yeah, as I said, we're very happy that you managed to be here with us at the Shower Podcast. And if you have any other questions, feel free to let them in the comments. And yeah, thank you very much for being here. Welcome back. I hope you managed to enjoy today's episode. Let me know in the comments what are your thoughts, and if you have any questions overall, I'll try my best to reach out to our guest and yeah, complete any kind of knowledge gap that might have been there. If you made it so far, thank you very much. As always, feel free to interact with this content in any way, shape, or form by liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing, whatever works for you works for me. And as usual, stay consistent, stay resilient. This was the Shower Podcast, and I'll see you tomorrow with another guest.